Hi, I'm Natasha. This is my second YouTube video, and today we are going to discuss simple yet effective ways to show up as your best self while remaining professional. This not only gives you better boundaries, but it will also give you your time back. So a great tool and resource is what I'm going to link below, which is I have a few different free guides. This one in particular is my top 5 scripts to set boundaries without guilt. So today, I'll tell you in my own private practice journey in particular, I know this all too well because, excuse me, especially in the beginning, I said yes to just about everything, whether it was aligned to my business and goals or not. And the more and more I said yes to things, the more and more I veered off course. And I was just completely left by the time I realized that I just totally lacked boundaries all across the board in so many areas. But I digress. So if you take anything away from this video, just to know that no is a complete sentence all by itself. There's no need for an explanation. You can just say no. So for the purposes of this video today, there's so many different types of boundaries. There's emotional, intellectual, physical boundaries. But for this video, we're going to talk about time in relation to your business. So I worked for many, many years in the skilled nursing space. So we're going to run through some scenarios in a few minutes that is going to, so the person I'm going to use is a cute little grandma. And her name is going to be Betty, okay, because I just decided that. So first, we're going to just talk about time as far as like our work schedule. So do you have a set work schedule? I like to ask a lot of questions, so just ponder as I start writing. But as far as scheduling, do you have is it a traditional like 5-day working week? Do you work 4/10s? Do you, oh my God, I didn't practice this again. But what do you do? So I'm going to just say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I particularly, if I could have it my way back in the day, I would have opted for 4/10s to have a 3-day weekend. But my question is, if you do have a set schedule, do you stick to it? Or do you have some, outliers somewhere? Maybe a random Saturday, maybe you have a random evening appointment. Do you have set work hours? And with that, do you schedule anything outside of that? Meaning, like, do you say take like Friday afternoons off and go do something for yourself? Or schedule in maybe if you have children, like time to go to the park or something else besides it all just being kind of centered around work. Do you have any of that going on in your schedule right now? Or is that something that you desire to do or do more of? Just some food for thought. So, and also weekends. Some people like to work on the weekends. I don't. So I am not putting the weekend on here, but no judgment, whatever you do. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to say that we're going to work a 5-day work week, but I'm going to put a little caveat in here, and we're just going to say on Mondays, we're going 9 to 5, 9 to 5, and 9 to 5. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and say Tuesdays and Thursdays, we are working shorter day because, I don't know, say we have kids and they have a standing appointment or something on those days. So we leave work early on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So remember Betty? We're gonna talk about Betty now. So we've been seeing Betty for a while, and we like Betty. Betty, she's cute. We like her. She's a great patient, client. So she's not new to us, but we're gonna run through a few scenarios and kind of like talk through what to do. So scenario number 1. Betty comes to you and wants to schedule for the next week. And Betty says, the only day and time I have is Tuesday at 5. I really want to see you, and that's the only time that I can do it. Well, according to our work schedule that we have created and that we said we were going to work, that is outside of our work time. Okay? And cute little Betty wants to come here. Betty wants to be here at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. And for this example, we have kids, right? So we're trying to leave. We're gone, actually. We're already gone. And let's just say, 6 o'clock is family dinner time. So what do you say? What do you say to Betty? Oh, we'll say 6 is dinner. This is family dinner time. Okay? What do you say to Betty? Betty doesn't usually miss appointments. She's very good, and she wants to, obviously get better. And maybe you say, I'll make this one-time exception, one time. I'll see you next Tuesday at 5. One time. Okay? So we agree. And then next week comes around, and we see Betty at 5. And, and the session went great. Betty was so appreciative. And Betty's like, yeah. So next week, she's like, this time really works for me. I want to schedule at 5 next Tuesday. What do you say? Do you agree? You already said that it was just a one-time thing, but, and it wasn't so bad. It went pretty quick. I mean, you were able to, drop your kids off from whatever the appointment was, and you came back and you saw Betty and, okay, sure. Fast forward, it's been a month, and you've now seen Betty, who is secretly your favorite client, but we're not supposed to have favorites, but we all have favorites. Now you've seen Betty for a month now at 5 o'clock every Tuesday for the last month. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're doing yourself any favors by seeing Betty at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday? And I ask because you're already done. You've created this schedule for yourself of not working those Tuesdays and Thursday afternoon for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason was, but this is outside your working time. So let's rewind and go back to the very first time Betty asked you so nicely if she could schedule with you at 5 o'clock on Tuesday. What is a different way this could have gone? Another way you could have answered Betty, instead of saying, yeah, sure, I'll make this one-time exception, and say, you know what, Betty, I appreciate the fact that that's the only time that you can do. I'm not available at that time. Oh, sorry. God, I forget I'm wearing a mic. I'm sorry, I'm not available at that time, but I can be available and give her whatever other openings that you have, whether it's that last slot on that Tuesday. Don't give her the weekend because we're not working it. Or give her any of these other days at, say, that 4, not even 5, right? Because you're saying you're done at 5. So if you're seeing her for an hour, you give her that 4 o'clock slot. And if she can't make it work, then move to we skip that week, move to the following week, or maybe you have another clinician on board with your team. Maybe that person has availability. Or it's just shifting, either she can make accommodations, you can at your discretion, or maybe it's just not a good fit. Because again, this is outside of, if you keep bending, this is gonna turn into some resentment for you. No matter how much we like Betty, this is not okay, because now that's a month that you have missed dinner. I'm erasing it too, sorry, but you've missed dinner with your family, or whatever it was that you were purposely off the clock for. So there's different ways to go about it. And again, in my guide that I'll have linked below, there's several different scenarios and several different scripts. Obviously, you can adjust as needed, but that help with kind of what to say. Because when you take like all the emotion out of it, like we really like Betty, or Betty's really, a great client, and all the things, really like the black and white picture is that's just not in your work schedule. That is not your working time. And most of us got into private practice because we wanted the ability to create our own schedule and not for it to be created for us, right? Okay, so that's scenario number one. Scenario number two is Betty, say she made this 5:00 appointment the first time. And Betty calls you, because Betty doesn't use email. Betty calls you and leaves you a message. And it's 1:00 on Tuesday and saying she's so tired, she can't make this late appointment that she had scheduled and she has to go to bed. Or whatever she says. But now she can't make this 5:00 appointment and she cancels a few hours before. What do? You really like Betty. But you also have a clear cancellation policy, which may state something like, for appointments that are canceled in less than 24 hours, you're billed X amount. So that would be Betty. But you're starting to feel conflicted, like bad, that now you are going to charge Betty whatever this amount is because she missed this appointment that she has scheduled. Would you waive it? You may, because maybe this is the first time she's ever canceled, or she had just I don't know, she double booked herself, or she got sick, or whatever. Let's rewind. Betty canceled. Honestly, outside of extenuating circumstances, this falls under your cancellation policy. So what you can say, either when you see Betty again, say she reschedules for another day later in the week, or you call and leave her a voicemail or a message back and say, hey, Betty, I am so sorry that you were so tired, or that you cannot make this appointment, or that you're ill and that you had to cancel. But per my, or our cancellation policies clearly state that any appointments canceled in X amount of time are going to be billed X. So you're clear, and it falls within your parameters. And you can also refer back to your client onboarding, paperwork, your system, because that's where that should be, right? And something that they either your clients review and sign, or that they receive at the time that they sign to agree to work with you, right? You can always refer back if there's any, pushback from that. But that is, clearly stated. And if you don't have a cancellation policy, make one today, because you should. Because again, let's just pretend this is not a 5:00 slot. Let's just say Betty's appointment was at 9, right? So that's prime time to see client. That's your prime client time. Now, because that she canceled, that was another slot that another client could have had that, would have shown up, that you could have seen and could have helped at that point in time. So again, that's compensating you for your time. It's not, punishing Betty, right? But it's your business. At the same point, I think I have a massage membership, and they love to tell me, they used to call me and tell me this, now they text me, but they love to tell me every time when they give me my reminder appointment. And that's also something you can do too. If it's not already set up and you send reminders, you can also tag in your cancellation policy as a clear reminder, like I get, that if I fail to cancel my appointment greater than 24 hours in advance, I will be charged. So I'm not going to get mad, because I know what the policy is. I'm not going to like having to pay if I didn't go and get the service, but I know that that's their policy. So same rules apply. We can't be mad at Betty, and Betty can't be mad at us. It's very clear cut. Maintain your boundaries, again, with stating these are our policies. I can move Betty up here, but I won't. But you get it. So scenario number 3. So scenario number 3 is, I just want to make sure that I say the right thing, because my working memory isn't so great. This is my favorite. So we're going to talk about response time. So Betty, so in the sense of we'll say Betty is going to email you now. Betty emails you. Betty has a question about some equipment you recommended. Like maybe you recommended she get like, of course, now I can't think of an example, but Betty asked you about a recommendation for a piece of equipment. She emails you on Monday, but you were seeing back-to-back clients from 9 to 5 on Monday, so you didn't see the email till here. But you're being very diligent about sticking with your work schedule. So you saw the email, but you're like, I'm done for the day. I'll deal with it tomorrow. 9 o'clock on Tuesday rolls around. Betty sends you another email. She sounds a little agitated in this email. It has a tone to it because she's emailed you on Monday wondering why you haven't responded to her first thing in the morning by Tuesday. And there's a few different ways this can go. But what I will say is, you could email her back and say, sorry, I missed your email, da, 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 da. But if you remember in my first video, we talked about apologizing. And I mean, obviously, when you're in the wrong, we apologize. Of course, we want to maintain a level of professionalism. Also, what I want to outline here when we talk about boundaries and time saving and all the things, when we go back to like client onboarding, so there's a few pieces that should be in there if they're not already. One being cancellation policy. I erased it already, but cancellation policies, right? Like if you have, a flat rate or a percentage of whatever the visit is, or however you decide your missed visit rate is or cancellation policy is related to that. And then another piece should be response time. And I don't think a lot of clinicians or owners include that, and they should, because what that means is you give the expectation of what the response time is clients can expect from you. Now, this could be, again, with like via email. So she emailed you. It could be returning phone calls. And it doesn't always have to be client related. So this could, again, be colleagues, things like that. If you outline from the beginning that, hey, my response time, if you're really busy and say you don't have other clinicians like on a team, like you're a one-person show, you can outline it to be whatever makes the most sense for you. So if it's 24 to 48, I always give myself more time than I need. So I'll do anything up to 72 hours. Or I'll also say business days. So say you get, then that saves you if somebody, Betty emails you 5 o'clock on a Friday. Well, I'm not working on the weekend, so I'm not going to respond here. So that'll, say Sunday rolls around and she's wondering where I am. So you could even say business days. So sometimes you can either do it by hours or say, this is starting to get messy, 3 business days. Then that would save you time. I like to put business days a lot just because, again, that saves the weekend, and that also gives you then till Tuesday, depending how busy you are. And again, that should be included in your policies and procedures or whatever terminology you're using for your client onboarding, like your privacy policies, all those things. There's so many forms that you have to do or should do to kind of cover yourself. But I would do response times as well. So going back to Betty, wow, she's emailed you a lot. So, so she emailed you Monday. She emails you again on Tuesday wondering why she hasn't gotten a response. You can email her back with a variation of, hey, Betty, I did receive your first email. Of course, being as professional as possible, and say, if you refer back to whatever you titled the document, your policy, it says, my typical response time is anywhere between, let's just say 2 to 3 business days. So you're still well within your time frame, referring back to, again, kind of like what we were talking about with the, oh my gosh, the other thing we were just talking about. But so I shouldn't film so late at night. Referring back to policy. So you're always referring back. So you've always had that clear communication all the way through. So again, it's taking out any level of agitation she has, confusion she has, wondering where you are, referring back to your policy. and if you are, and you can say that and then still respond to whatever her question was, whatever it was, the recommendation on whatever equipment you had recommended, and still continue to respond that way, but giving her clear guidance. So like, say for future reference, please refer to X policy in X document. So Betty's all over the board. So I thought I love little Betty. So that's another scenario. And again, some other examples that are listed in the guide are like, again, transitioning, clients off caseload, dealing with certain payment ideas. And I can also, if you comment below or DM me on Instagram, I will give you additional scripts and templates that you can use. So with that being said, my free guide for the top 5 scripts are below. Again, the Back to Balance planning session is August 13th and 14th, which is 2-day live to plan out the next 90 days, because we all know once it's back to school time, whether you have kids or not, the summer gets slow, but then the fall, you're hitting the ground running. So that is a great time to plan before the busy season starts, especially then going into the holidays after that. And then if you are feeling like you need more than this being like, yes, I know I need to work on my planning. Yes, I know I have some issues with boundaries, but I've been dealing with so much stuff that you feel like it's more than just this. And it's more, like stuff going on with just getting clear on, getting back to why I got into private practice in the first place, like things I feel like I'm unmotivated, or, I'm just not getting things done. Things are just like, you don't have the clarity and like the gumption that you did when you first started your practice. Then my other course in September is perfect for you, because that is called All Starts With You, which literally your practice is an extension of you. So if you are not in the space to be your best self, your practice is not going to thrive and scale the way you want it to. So that is a 4-week course. Again, that starts in Tuesday, September 9th for 4 weeks. And that's live sessions and sessions and calls. And it's a deep dive, and it's an extension of kind of all the things we've talked about. There isn't direct planning involved, but I have an audit that is available that you can do, that if it's a live option, isn't something that you can do or want to do, and you want to do something else that's not on that kind of platform, my practice breakthrough audit is the perfect option then for you. But I've kind of said a lot of things, but yeah, my next video is going to be on something called the Freedom Formula, which is a great approach for when you are wearing all the hats and doing all the things. So that will be coming up next week. And the pre-sale for the Back to Balance planning live session ends tomorrow. So this, I don't think will get posted by then. So that's tomorrow being July 6th, but it's still open for registration. The pre-sale will just be done, but the pre-sale for All Starts With You goes until July 28th. So yeah, thanks for being here if you got this far, and I'll see you next week.